Alright guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Toyota Supra and the Acura NSX. But before we get started, I want to make a quick personal note. I have GERD, it's an acid reflux thing, so if you see me shaking my head, swallowing, stuttering, and messing up a sentence, it's something that I'm battling through. But I just wanted you guys to know that, and if you see something like that, you'll understand why. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So with the Toyota Supra, when I bought the car, the previous owner told me it got egged. I don't know the details, but it got egged right on the front side of the hood. So when I got the car, I knew that one day I was gonna have to fix that. Well, if you fast forward a couple of years, a couple of cross-country trips, it's the right time to do it. I got some quotes, found a good place, asked all the right questions, and so the car is gonna go in and get the hood painted. It's going to be really exciting because the hood is a really big part of the Supra. If you see it, it's a big part of it. So I think that hood being painted is really going to help the car. It's going to give it a nice fresh look. All right, so moving on to the next thing. Here's another story you guys might get a kick out of. A mistake that I made, but it happens. So when I first got the car, I was reading a lot on the forums and even in the frequently asked questions, like what should I do to my Supra first? And a real common BPU modification is a downpipe. Now, if you guys are familiar, on turbo cars, if you put on a downpipe, it actually has quite a significant impact because the performance, it just lets that turbo, pretty much be free, more airflow, less restricted. So the Toyota Supra has two catalytic converters, and they're notorious, to be restricted. Now, it's good for the environment, not so good for performance. So what I did is I ordered a Tubi downpipe and I had it installed, but where I went wrong was two things. Is that I used the same hardware and I put the Tubi downpipe with the stock exhaust. Now the diameters were quite different between the downpipe and the stock exhaust. But I said, you know what, let's just do it. Let's eliminate those two cats and see what happens. Well, when I was driving the car, I was getting quite this distinct exhaust smell, and even if I lowered the windows, and even if I got out the car for a second, I smelled like exhaust. So I thought it was the downpipe, so I took it off and I sold it. So fast forward a couple of years, I decided that I want to do it, but this time I'm going to do it right. I went to the Toyota dealership and bought the correct gaskets in advance. And I did the research on the diameter of the Tubi downpipe, and this time around I'm going to go with the Tubi downpipe with the Tubi exhaust. Now Tubi makes and I could be mispronouncing the brand, so I apologize, but Tubi makes really high quality parts, and I think for a very reasonable price. So I'm going to be doing that, and it's going to be quite exciting because it's going to give me a nice tone, nothing crazy. The exhaust I'm getting is known to be a little bit quieter than most exhausts. But without those two catalytic converters in that extra 30 to 40 horsepower, I'm really excited to see how the car is going to respond. So I really hope you guys stay tuned to see how that works out. The third part is going to be the wheels. Now, I did talk to you about this in the last video, and what happened is between then and now, I found out some information I didn't know. So the company Volk, who makes the famous Volk T37s and other wheels like that, they did not make a specific wheel setup for the Supra, meaning that they did not make a wheel with the right offsets, with the right everything. Usually people go 18s or 19s, but they didn't make a Supra fitment wheel setup for it. So essentially what a lot of people do is that they find the offset that they feel comfortable with and the diameter, and then typically with all of that, they have to lower the car, which is quite common and recommended. And then they have to roll the fenders to really give it that good look. A lot of people said, you want to roll your fenders. The thing about it is I've just never been very comfortable about rolling fenders and stuff like that. Maybe it's not that big of a deal, but I just don't feel comfortable with it. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go that route. But a couple of routes I've been looking at is that a few years while the Supra was being sold, they came out with some polished OEM wheels. I think they look pretty cool. They're quite popular and hard to find, and I think they look pretty cool. But that's an idea. I'm still working on it, but we'll see what happens. And that's pretty much about it. I put some new speakers in the car, give it a better sound, but just been enjoying the car. All right, let's talk about the Acura NSX. Now, on a note, as far as Colorado goes, I'm quite shocked because I'm in the western side of Colorado, and I thought I wasn't going to be able to drive these cars in December, January. I was kind of like, well, it's going to be serious winter, but I've actually gotten to drive these cars a couple times during those months, so that's a pretty cool thing. All right, So the Acura NSX, I mean, both these cars are so much fun to drive. I mean, 90s Japanese cars, the best. So in the last video we talked about, I got this car stock. I haven't owned this car for a long time. And then I found an exhaust. I was very lucky to find the exhaust that I found and installed it. And I really think it adds a lot to the car, adds to the experience. Really, I'm really happy with that decision. So essentially, when I was looking through stuff, because I get inspiration and ideas from you guys, from Facebook, from Instagram, you know, there's just so many of you guys out there who just really have awesome cars and have really cool ideas. So I get these ideas from you guys, and even though I love how the Acura NSX looks, you know, these wheels are cool. You know, they're a little dated. This is the 1991. It's still iconic. It has that iconic look. But I thought, you know, some aftermarket wheels might be cool. And so I've been looking at some of those, and I might be talking to somebody about a set. I don't know yet, but I'm pretty excited about that. And so that's one of the things I'm thinking about doing to the Acura NSX. Besides that, I don't think I'm going to do a lot more. I think I'm going to just freshen up some areas that need to be freshened up. Like an example was, I went to go wash the car, and when I got home, there was water in the left tail light, a lot of water. So I took out the bulbs, I was freaking out, I was trying to let it dry out. In the meantime, I went in and was trying to research it. And a couple people were saying that it's quite common when the tail light gaskets are worn out. So what I did is I ordered those parts from Japan, and I also ordered a speaker cover, because when you get in and out of the door, your leg rubs because it sits very low, it rubs against that part. So over time, that speaker cover has gotten worn out. So I ordered that as well. But some fun information is that when you're ordering these parts from Japan, it takes quite a bit of time, like 3 to 4 weeks sometimes. Right now, I ordered a part from Science of Speed, and it's 8 weeks till it gets here. So it is what it is, but you know, that's quite exciting. Luckily, everything else is pretty straightforward with the car. So that's quite exciting. Well guys, that's what's going on with the cars. If you have any ideas or recommendations, please post them. I'm excited to hear from you. And I welcome you to subscribe so you can follow along with some of the things that we talked about. And I hope you guys have a great day. And thanks for watching. Stay tuned.